Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy. Well, the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And this is going to be an interesting episode because it's one of those weeks where we kind of fucked off. It's a phone it in Tuesday or phone it in Wednesday. We phoned it in. We know what we want to talk about.
Fun day.
But we don't know enough about the stuff we're talking about. So enjoy what you're about to hear. Although I will tell you guys, I want to start with this, guys, before Corey tells the people where they can find us. This is the kind of week it's been, right? Because I was not stoned at all, but I had an unbelievably good stoner thought. Have you ever done that where you're not stoned, but you have a good stoner thought? Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah.
I thought, you know how Ben Shapiro does
like assless chaps. It just apparently they were already made.
This is just me. I have to get my like weekly shit on TradCons in. This is where it comes in. You know how Ben Shapiro does like those reaction videos on social media? Where sometimes they're serious, but other times they'll actually be kind of funny where he's like watching like a funny clip and he reacts to it. I thought about how funny it would fucking be if Ben Shapiro did those reaction videos to like a short porn video. Because you know how much he hates porn.
Yeah.
Because he's a tradcon, so porn is pretty much the worst thing that could possibly
right,
happen.
but critiquing it not in the way of it being immoral, just like, oh my god, the dialogue in this doesn't even make any sense. How is she stuck in the washer? Or the dryer?
Let's be very clear. Ejaculate never belongs on a woman's face. Ever. Okay. Ejaculate only belongs
in your eye.
Ejaculate should only go inside the vagina where it can climb through the cervix into the uterus and produce a baby. That's the only place ejaculate should ever go.
My wife's a doctor.
And then it went even deeper. I'm like, what if Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson were both watching these together?
They just have a cheat. They just have the cheat up between the two of them.
Yeah, because they definitely wouldn't be able to make eye contact while watching this. Well, you better bloody well know that women do not consume the same type of pornography as men.
I feel like it's so funny now that we're talking about Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson. I feel like Jordan Peterson makes uncomfortably sustained eye contact during sex, and Ben Shapiro keeps his eyes closed the entire time.
You better bloody well know that women, when they masturbate, they like to be alone.
Then Jordan Peterson cries after.
When they masturbate, they like to be left alone with the dulcet tones of Barry White, and you should bloody well know that.
I'm sick of this.
All the data shows. It's very clear.
It's not immediately clear to me.
It's not immediately clear to me that men and women consume the same type of pornography.
That is a soundbite that we need. It's not immediately clear to me. Anyways, Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com.
And you better bloody well know.
We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today. You know what, Dan? I had to be proud of myself on this one right here because as soon as you said you bloody well know, my first impulsive thought was to be like, yeah, it's a Jordan Peterson accent for the rest of this is a good idea. But I can't fucking do a Jordan Peterson accent.
You know what's so funny? I was like, nope. I don't think I do a very good Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson.
It's just you're just better than me.
All right. I guess I'm just slightly better. I'm still totally the Walmart version of it, or the Bud Light version, whatever the most offensive thing is to people.
Game Time beer from circa 2014 7-Eleven. Do you remember Game Time beer at 7-Eleven?
Yes, I do.
Dream. Bell, get in here. Do you remember Game Time?
It's just bullshit.
A 12-pack was like $7.
I sure do, buddy. And every time you drank it, it was in fact Game Time.
Man. It tasted exactly like Bud Light, but like even half the price of Bud Light.
Yeah, and it was like almost like better.
It was good.
We ain't found shit.
Straight. I'm just kidding. But boo. But yeah, I remember games.
Good old Game Time. No wonder why they stopped making it, because they couldn't even afford to keep it.
Well, while you're here, do you have a things learned for this week?
Oh yeah, things learned, boys.
Yeah, actually,
he does.
Actually, I do. It's not. It's more of a things realized.
Bell has a things learned.
My thing realized this week is there is possible way, as much as you try, or as hard as you try, that you can possibly legislate safety. And if you think so, you are stupid. Every bill or every law that has ever been designed in the name of your safety is dog shit. Murder is illegal.
Does this have to do with the gas cans with the new safety spout?
It's not necessarily.
Don't forget what they took away from us.
It's not necessarily. There's no one situation that made me think of this. I was just literally just sitting there one day, and I'm like, people giving up liberties for safety, and I'm like, but why? Because even if they sign a law or write a bill or anything saying that you can't do this because you'll kill somebody, people are still going to do that shit and kill somebody. So you're not even safe.
So what's interesting about this is like that's like the Michael Malice style anarchists argument about like, because I am certainly not like an anarcho-capitalist in any way, but like in recent times I've sort of come around to the logic. Like if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd have been like, that's fucking crazy. Like why would anybody do that? But to your point, like so like an anarchist's point would be like, why should there be a law against murder? Why do you need the government to tell you that murder is wrong? Because at the end of the day, if you go out, like if Bell goes out and kills somebody, there's going to be like for no reason, not in self-defense, like there's going to be justice because that person's family is going to come murder Bell. And so it's like there's already a deterrent not to murder people that is not jail time. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand the logic. Go ahead.
I kind of when it comes to laws for me, it's kind of like, is there a victim? No victim, no crime.
That's definitely how I feel. Like you want to like how I feel. You want to smoke crack in your room? I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Because every law that is made, every single law, even the most trivial thing of littering, ultimately has an arm with a gun in it pointing it at you. It's something as trivial as littering. Yeah, because littering it's trivial, right? It's trivial. You get slapped with a fine. But let's say you don't pay that fine. Then you get a warrant. And then what happens with the warrant? There's a guy kicking in your door with a gun to take you to jail or to court because you may have threw an apple core on the ground or whatever. And I'm not advocating littering at all. Like, I think littering is one of the most disgusting things, like it's fucking stupid. Like there's trash cans, just fucking put it in your pocket. But it's just the most trivial laws out there can ultimately lead to a person with a gun pointing it at you.
No, well, I like.
So that's what it talks about when it comes to laws. No victim, no crime.
I like
people that want to legislate laws that keep you safe.
Yes, that was the whole point of Bell's things learned, and but to that end, those laws always end up with things like you violated your time that you're allowed to park in downtown Detroit. So here's your $50 fine, which then leads to a warrant, which then leads to an arrest for essentially what is a victimless crime.
Yeah.
Right?
Which could
because the
result
city
in
wanted their money.
It's a revenue collection.
And it's all arbitrary because, like, I have to wear a seatbelt in my car, but fuckers on motorcycles don't have to wear helmets and they can split lanes.
They used to. I'm actually really surprised that law was returned the other direction. I don't know what the motorcycle lobby did, at least in our home state of Michigan here. For a long time, you had to wear a helmet while riding a motorcycle.
Go ahead.
I think it was within the last 6 or so years, they overturned that law.
Yeah, and I don't know where. I don't know. It might have been Big Helmet propagating these figures. So I don't know, but
Big
I
helmet.
guess you have a 10%.
I'm just thinking of Spaceballs right now.
You have 10% chance more survivability if you wear a helmet, which almost sounds negligible.
It's just bullshit.
You're literally riding on a piece of metal between your legs, going the same speed as vehicles that are thousands of pounds.
Yep.
Corey, what did you learn this week? Bell learned that laws for your safety are bullshit.
Bullshit. They're just money grabs for the most part.
Or power grabs.
I learned that Biden was vice president during the pandemic.
You did? You just learned this? Because he said it loud and clear.
When I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you.
And if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
So that's what I learned this week. And I just thought it was funny because
it's not true.
You know, there's a gaffe there. I think he was trying to. Yeah, first off, it's not fucking true.
Does anything shock
and I
you
think he
anymore
was
than
trying to.
Jesus.
No, doesn't shock me at all.
And I think, you know, like the White House immediately was like, he meant recession. He meant recession. And I think it was in this same speech he said last name when it was on the teleprompter.
So here's what I
But then
find
here's the other
interesting
thing,
about
Dan, that cracked me up. But real quick.
Go ahead.
He goes, and poor mayor doesn't say his name. He just calls him poor mayor of like a city who like went through some shit.
That's poor.
That when the recession hit Detroit, when Obama talked about him going there, the recession was like 2000 or 2008, 2009, right? 2012, 2013 were the years that they were talking about the economic boon, right? That like the recession was over. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Mayor Mike Duggan wasn't elected until 2013. It wasn't even the same fucking mayor that he was dealing with. It would have been what?
So this would have been
Dave
Bing.
Bing.
Dave Bing, yeah. Mayor of Detroit. Former Detroit Piston.
So, like, it wasn't even the same mayor. And just to get my fact, I don't know if you'd be able to actually search when Obama sent Biden to Detroit, but it wasn't during their recovery. Things were looking bad in Detroit.
There's no doubt that this was just another Biden gaffe, right? So what Sagar and Jetty made this point on one of his most recent episodes, which I found really interesting because I didn't know this, because who really gives a shit about presidential records other than nerds like Sagar and Jetty? That is not meant to disparage Sagar. He's great at what he does, and he would probably self-admit that he is a nerd when it comes to this stuff. But apparently, the actual official record for the White House is able to go back and change these transcripts to say what he quote unquote meant to say. So like we have all the audio, right? We have all the video, but like his point was like, if there was like some like apocalypse or whatever, or something happened where like all of this video and audio record was done away with,
but the
historians
survived.
Historians 80 years from now would find the transcripts and think like, why the fuck did everybody hate this Biden guy? He was a really articulate guy.
Oh, that's so gross.
Because it's all about what he meant to say, right? It's like, okay, like I understand, but he's the president of the United States. Like, there's never been a president before him that has just gotten this. Like, even like, we remember when we used to make fun of George W. Bush because he fucked up quite a few times, right? He said some stupid things.
Fool me once. Shame on
fool me
shame
again.
on you.
Fool me twice, can't fool me again.
Fool me twice, you can't get fooled again.
But that's the thing.
Then he was like banging on bongos with like African people.
The thing about it is like his gaffes, as much of a fucking warmonger and a piece of shit that he was, that I won't ever forgive him for. Like, his gaffes weren't blatant lies, right? They were just gaffes. They were just outright.
Right.
Like,
it wasn't him saying all of a sudden, "Oh yeah, my uncle was eaten by cannibals."
Yeah, or my son died in Iraq 40 times. He said that so many fucking times.
Yeah. Bush said a bunch of dumb shit. And especially when it's like when they make little compilations of it, it's like, God damn, he was a really dumb motherfucker.
We ain't found shit.
That's actual audio from people in the future, post-apocalyptic, looking for Biden transcripts.
What'd you learn? You already said what you learned. Bell said what you learned. Oh, you didn't say what you learned. You just your stoner ass brought up a idea.
Yeah. That I wasn't high at all.
You didn't. I didn't inhale.
I still want to see Ben Shapiro review porn videos. That's just what I want to see. That's just the only thing I want to see in life right now. No, what I learned this week was that, if I can bring it up here,
that room probably smells so bad.
I did fart, but that's neither here nor there.
Ben Shapiro reviewing porn. There's no hygienics in this room at all.
He has his wife clean up immediately after. And it doesn't last long. But what I learned this week was that there is only one candidate for the presidency here for the 2024 election that is technically eligible for the first CNN debate. It's not Joe Biden, and it's not Donald Trump. It's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the only one that fits all of the criteria for CNN's opening debate, and he's the one that is battling, fighting, scratching, and clawing to get on that stage. So eligibility looks like this, Corey. To qualify for participation, candidates must fulfill the requirements outlined in Article 2, Section 1.
Let me see if I can, before you say them, let me see if I can remember them. I think you need 300,000 individual voters or individual donors. You need to be polling at least 2%. And you need to be on the ballots in maybe not all 50 states, and this one is me cheating because you said it in the text, but you need to have be on enough ballots to reach 270 electoral votes.
You're 1 for 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're 1 for 3. So the
one that I cheated on was the one I was right on.
Right. And the qualifications for eligibility are actually more difficult than what you said.
Okay, so these are for primaries.
You have to be on the ballot to have you have to be on enough state ballots to possibly get 270 electoral votes. So that really isn't that many. If you can get on California, New York, and Texas, you only need a couple other states, and you would technically be on enough ballots to be eligible to get 270 electoral votes. RFK reaches that requirement. Candidates must receive at least 15% in 4 separate national polls of registered or likely voters that meet CNN's standards.
So when it comes to the party debates versus like the general debate, that number gets bumped up.
Perhaps. But yeah, he meets that as well. He's in fact, I think there's 5 polls in which RFK has 15% or more in the polls. And what was the other one?
Is it individual donors?
No, that was it. I think it was just those 2.
Interesting.
At least for the CNN debate.
So the DNC, when they had their requirements for polling for like the primary debates, that was like, it was like 1 to 2% polling.
Oh, I'm sorry. There is one other one. They must file a statement of candidacy with the Federal Election Commission, which obviously he has done.
Yeah.
So Biden nor Trump as we sit here on May 22nd, 2024 at 8:10 p.m., neither of them meet the qualification of 270 electoral votes. And the reason for that is quite simple. Neither of them are technically their party's announced candidate yet. They are the presumptive candidates. They are not technically the candidates for their party. So they are on
They
zero
haven't had their
ballot.
caucuses yet.
Exactly. They haven't had their conventions yet. So they are
They're
not
gonna find a way to
technically-
screw RFK. You know that, right?
I know they are. That's what I'm
And
saying.
it's bullshit.
Technically, right now, right here, right now, he is the only one who qualifies to be eligible for these debates.
That's so gross.
That's what I learned this week.
And
But
he'll
they're
still
going
get
to.
shafted.
I will say this: I do have some hope that RFK will be on the stage because, according to him, according to RFK himself, you got to believe him when he says this. He is in like very serious discussions with CNN right now. So like the fact that they're talking to him is a good thing. And I'll say this too.
That's interesting, right? Because of the fact that like CNN doesn't give a shit about democracy as much as they do ratings.
No, they care about ratings. And RFK being on that stage is good for ratings.
Is great for ratings.
There's no world where like I actually think there is a good chance that he is going to be on that debate stage. And especially because when you consider everything that mainstream media has been through, and rightfully so, basically since 2016,
Of being siloed, biased.
Right. There are inklings of the idea that maybe they're starting to realize
Doing
what the
this
hell's
would
going
increase
on.
CNN's credibility. If they followed through and stuck to their own rules and didn't try to do some chicanery and actually got RFK on that stage, it would make me go, okay, CNN.
Right. I mean, they wouldn't be doing it in good faith.
But for the ratings. I don't give a
for
shit.
the ratings.
But dude, Biden
what-
and Trump would both shit bricks.
Well, that's another concern. If CNN announces that he's eligible, what are the chances that one or both of them pulls out?
Who gives a fuck? Then you turn it into a town hall.
A town hall for RFK Jr.? I like it. I actually like that idea a lot.
Dude, we're in uncharted territory.
I would be really interested to see in that scenario where Trump and Biden both pull out. Because first of all, I don't really understand the advantage for Trump to debate anyway. Like he just there's no way that he gains anything from debating. I think Biden actually has a lot more to gain from debating because all they have to do is hop him up on fucking.
Well, did you hear it? Biden or Trump said one of his stipulations
Wants to drug
was
test
to
him.
put for
Yeah.
his drug testing.
Yeah, he wants to drug test him.
Oh, that's
I think
so
both
funny.
should be drug tested. I think that'd be great.
One's all
But yeah.
hopped up on Sudafed. The other one's all hopped up on amphetamines.
Which drug is better? That's really what the debate's about.
RFK shows up.
On steroids.
He gets disqualified because he took performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh man!
They're
Yeah,
like, guess what?
so-
Guess what, RFK? We're nixing any home run you've ever gotten in your life.
Corey, 2 presidents crashed and burned this weekend. One literally, and one figuratively. Which one of these two had the worst weekend? Is that like the worst joke I've ever made
No, it was a pretty good one.
on this show?
Uh,
The president of Iran. What the fuck is that guy's name? I had it in front of me. I always forget his name.
you mean I ran my helicopter into a mountain?
I ran my helicopter into a mountain.
Yeah, that was a meme that Belle just shared with us. Belle, and honestly, like when it popped up on my little screen over here when I saw it, I thought it was the meme of that one guy that's always like, these taxes are too damn high. The guy, I don't even know who it is, but it's the black guy with the gray beard. And I thought it was gonna be that, but immediately I was like, oh, we should make a meme about Iran and saying these mountains are too damn high.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's fucking stupid, right?
Yeah. Ibrahim Raisi, was the president of Iran that I'm sure anybody who listens to this show has probably heard crashed a helicopter into a mountain and died. There's been a lot of immediate speculation that maybe the West had something to do with it, although not really. I feel like people are kind of grasping at straws for that because it really does just kind of look like it was bad weather that knocked this helicopter out of the air.
Yeah.
There are people that really wanted the West to be blamed so that they could virtue signal in some way about like how the West,
Yeah, it just sounds like a
Westerners
tragic
support
accident.
terrorists. Is it really that tragic? Wasn't he known as
no,
he was known as the butcher of Tehran?
Yeah, the American propaganda in me that's ingrained says no, it's not tragic at all.
Well, he's an
But then
autocrat,
also-
or he
yeah.
works under an autocrat, and this is
Yeah,
this
he
is a
is.
man
He
that
was
is-
just a figurehead. He was just a stooge for the Ayatollah.
and that's why I don't
Along
think
with
this
him
matters that
dying
much.
was Iran's foreign minister Hassan Amir Abdullahian, maybe, as well as the governor of East Azerbaijan province, Malik Ramadi, and Tabriz Friday prayer leader, Ayatollah Muhammad Ali al-E Hashem, a senior Shia cleric who was also supreme leader, Ali Khamenei's official representative in East Azerbaijan. So a decent little chunk of like way up their figureheads, all knocked out in a helicopter crash.
And what we should probably understand about this is
The helicopter is also like fucking 40 years old.
Yeah, the West wasn't involved. It was an accident because it's just a bad idea to fly a helicopter in shitty
Because even
weather,
if Iran had
particularly fog.
inklings that it was another country, they would jump on it right away. And even them, like if it's not, if that's the thing too, when everyone makes these stipulations, when things like this happen.
Well,
If
would they though?
If the country that got the loss isn't saying there's funny business, then there probably isn't funny business.
You have to consider this angle, Corey.
You don't show your cards in a game of poker.
Well, no, and if the West were responsible for this, you could see the Iranians covering that up because that's an embarrassment.
It shows a weakness that they can be straight.
It just doesn't appear to be the case. If there's more evidence that comes out,
then we will absolutely revamp and revisit this. Yeah,
we'll explore it. But yeah, this is a situation where he was basically a figurehead anyway. The Ayatollah, who is getting very, very old at this point, so we'll see what happens in the next few years, runs the shit. And there's just going to be another figurehead put in place. They're supposed to have an election, I believe, within 30 days of his death. I think that's what I read. And it's just going to be another sham election. I mean, this is just what you have in autocratic countries. Although we have supported the Palestinians so much on this show, Corey, that I think some of our listeners may be surprised to hear that we're not fans of Iran.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Iran.
What do you mean?
Iran.
They got a good soccer team. They don't. I think they've qualified for the World Cup a couple times in the past. In the recent past, I should say.
They had a great culture, and then we fucked it up. I'll give it.
You know what's so interesting is that, like, if you listen to folks that have actually been to Tehran, apparently Tehran itself, like Tehran proper, is actually still decently secular and cultured. Like the Sharia law style that you might see in the rest of Iran doesn't necessarily exist in Tehran proper, which I find interesting. I don't know why that's the case. I think it might just be...
Well, it's like Atlanta in the middle of Georgia, Austin in the middle of Texas.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about actual... I mean, the United States in some respects is on its way to autocracy. We talk about that a lot on this show, but it's not even close to there yet.
Right, but
Iran
I'm talking like
there.
a red state that's very conservative theologically, but then
with
there's
a blue city.
Yeah, with a blue city.
I don't know. I just find that interesting. I've heard more than a few people say that Tehran is actually still pretty cultured.
Women still have to cover up and stuff, but they can go out and
not
drink tea.
Nearly like they do in the rest of Iran
or like Saudi Arabia. Can women drive in Iran? Hey, Bell, look that up real quick. See if women can drive in Iran.
It's just going to be propaganda. He's only going to find propaganda.
Find an Al Jazeera link, bucko.
You realize Al Jazeera is like super left wing, right?
Kind of, just because they shit on America in that respect, but it's a like an Arabic led news outlet.
Only in name only.
In name only, but like it's just, I mean, it's like what was it, real time RT.
That's Russian times.
Women
Russian
are
time.
allowed to drive in Iran, including taxis, and can drive all types of vehicles inside and outside of cities. However, the police always threaten to arrest them and confiscate their vehicles if they don't wear headscarves.
So they can drive, but they have to cover their hair. Makes complete sense.
Look, I mean, I cover my eyes when I drive, like this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I wear sunglasses.
You can drive, but you better cover your hair because that's a safety issue. They don't want their hair getting caught in the steering wheel. And it makes sense for their own
They don't want accidents, because if men see a woman's hair flowing in the breeze,
yes, absolutely. Yep,
Jesus.
you're right. That's
Like,
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
They just get immediate boners. They just ejaculate right there if they see.
Honestly, I'm all for it. I have
hair.
enough distractions when I'm trying to check Twitter and keep my beer from spilling when I'm driving, that like a woman with hair might set me over the edge.
Who knew? Who knew that Ben Shapiro and had so much in common with the Iranians? That ejaculate does not belong anywhere in my car. It only belongs in a vagina, where it can travel through the cervix into the uterus and produce a baby. That's the only place ejaculate ever belongs. I didn't think I'd get a chance to do that twice.
Hey baby, the kids are asleep. You wanna soak?
that and I didn't think I'd get a chance to do that twice. Neither did Ben Shapiro. Anyway, by the way, the president of Iran did not have the worst weekend. Is kind of where I was going with this. Joe Biden may have actually had the worst weekend. He gave a commencement speech at Morehouse University? Or Morehouse College? I'm sorry, Morehouse College. Is it college? I don't know. Morehouse. This just shows my whiteness. A historically black university that
HBIC for short. I knew that.
Historically,
I'm down with the culture.
Historically black college that is the alma mater of Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh no, HBC. Sorry, not HBIC. HBIC is head bitch in charge. HBC is historically black college.
That is one thing Joe Biden is not.
He is not the HBIC.
Head bitch in charge. Joe Biden gave the commencement speech at Morehouse, a historically black college that is the alma mater of Martin Luther King Jr. And he went and pandered to a degree that made probably his own wife want to vomit. I'm just going to show the part of the speech that everybody's talking about, because it's let's just say it's not good. Took me a while to get that out. Here we go. I don't know why it makes me click on that twice, but here we go.
It's the opposite of good.
You missed your high school graduation. You started college just as George Floyd was murdered. And there was a
What about
reckoning
Breonna
on
Taylor?
race.
Point hard, Joe.
It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy? If
He
black
honestly
men are
wants
being
to
killed
know.
in the street,
Yeah, he doesn't know.
what is democracy? The trail of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. Most of all, what does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure?
There's like 8 people clapping because they realize how vomit-inducing this is.
Okay.
That was it. So, couple things. The first thing I get out of that is that Joe Biden is looking at black students
as victims, and he's here to save them.
At an HBC, and not just victims, Corey, perpetual victims. And so, like, this is the thing that the quote unquote woke, I don't even like using that word anymore, but I have to because there's no other better word. The woke crowd does this thing where they paint minorities as these perpetual victims. And it's a big reason why the Hispanic community rallies against it. And it's a big reason why the black community is starting to rally against this. And I shouldn't even just say starting because it's been happening a while. It's just been a little bit more of a slow build, I guess you could say. People don't like to be seen as fucking victims. And they especially don't like to be told that they're victims by somebody like Joe Biden.
Right.
Basically, Joe Biden took to that stage and looked at black kids graduating from a historically black college and said, America hates you. America hates you. The leader of the country that he says hates you. And you wonder why Trump continues to pull better with Hispanics, why he continues to pull better with black folks.
Not comparatively, but like the poll numbers comparatively to previous for Republicans. Like it was
Sure.
it was what was it? Like 8% or 6% of black males voted for Trump in 2016. And now like 16 or like 20% is like saying that they're for Trump.
Polling for Trump.
Yeah, like the polling of like black Americans has at least
Don't quote
doubled.
those numbers, by the way, folks. We don't have those in front of us, but it's to Corey's point, it's rising.
Yeah,
and rising at a pretty significant rate.
Yeah, worth mentioning.
Absolutely worth mentioning.
Hey Bell, if you can look that up, look up black.
How is Trump?
If you can look
Trump
up
polling among black men.
Yeah, how is Trump polling among black men versus like 2016 to 2024?
I guess it doesn't even have to be black men. It could be all blacks. I mean,
yeah, but there's a weird thing, you know, with Trump. He said that whole thing about grabbing pussies and stuff. So like, regardless of color, women aren't super fans.
Not huge fans. I get it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan either, but like when you start to like take the emotions out of it and understand where people are coming from, they're
I just heard a thing today that under Trump, Americans in general saw a 16% increase in wealth, and then under Biden it's like 0.7% or something like that.
In 2016, polls showed that 8% of black men were voting for Trump.
Right.
Right now, black voters claim in record numbers that black men will be voting record numbers for Donald Trump, and they're polling at 17%.
Damn, dude, my fucking numbers are pretty fucking
close. You had it. You had it pretty damn close. They're pretty damn close. It's doubled. It's doubled in 8 years.
Good. More than double almost. But
it's more than doubled because it was 8, now it's 17. So it's doubled.
Yeah.
It's doubled plus 1%.
So yeah, Dan, you can quote me on that.
No, I wasn't about to. I didn't want you to get it way up.
I know. Plausible deniability. Just like when America decided to destroy the Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
The other thing that I pulled out of Biden's comments here, he does this thing where it's like America's always been against you, the poor black people, turning them into victims, whatever. And it's like, don't you realize and more black voters are starting to realize this. Aren't you the party that has promised to make things better for black people in America? Aren't you the one that's responsible for the reason why America hates you? Like, how many times can you turn back and say, it's just conservative, racist Republicans. It's conservative, racist Republicans. They're the ones that hate you. There's nothing we can do. Like, when you are the ones that own power right now, you have half of Congress and you have the presidency. And there have been points where You've had a black president. In fact, Joe, you worked under that black president. I don't know if you remember. And not only that, Obama had both houses of Congress, but yet somehow, some way, America still just hates these black people, right, Joe? They hate them so much. They keep them down.
It's this trope.
They got to work 10 times harder. Yeah, it's
that, like,
it's
we'll
this
protect
painting
you.
that the Democratic Party does of painting black people as perpetual victims so that they can get their votes, so that they can quote unquote protect them. There's nothing more racist than that, in my view. Do you disagree?
For the most part, no. It's the pandering that gets me. That's like, it's just the same old trope of like, don't worry, like, we'll protect you, we'll help you, when it's like, no, just get out of the fucking way.
Absolutely get out of the way. And I am very, very
They
proud of
divide
a lot
it,
of
like,
these-
it's the division, right? Like, because there are black elitists in our country who are well off and have a way better life than we ever will.
Sure.
But it's the poor black people that they try to cater to.
Sure.
If you strip race from it and just talk to poor people in general, instead of pandering to certain sects for their votes and not doing anything for them, versus just trying to focus on the working class in general and trying to help all of them, would be way better for the country, because a rising tide raises all ships. But it's a divisive rhetoric intentionally designed to
take away power
to divide the working class.
Yeah, to take away power. To
This
hold
is
on
where
to
my
power.
leftism really comes out, because it's just
Right.
like, no, fuck the race ideas. You know what I mean? It's about the class, because
I'm
whether
with
you're
you.
Jewish, black, Asian, white, Indian, whatever, if you're doing better than me, I don't give a shit the skin color of you. If you're like ripping off the working class to buy back stocks, and like work with Vanguard or BlackRock and all of these companies up at the top to stifle the working class, then you're an enemy. Not necessarily, like, that's hyperbolic, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, these elitists at the top, whether they're Democrat or Republican, they divide up the working class into race, into creed, into the culture war, stuff like that, to keep them fighting amongst themselves so they don't point their spears at the ones at
Back
the
at
top.
them.
It's designed. This is just designed. Pander, divide.
Pander
It's
and
just
divide.
frustrating.
Maybe that should be the name of the rebrand show. Pander and divide.
Pander and divide.
Yeah, I like that. We'll come back to that. But yeah, no, this is in like that part of my growing up on the left side of the spectrum. I still hold on to a lot of that too. I've converted a lot of that to my more small L libertarianism. But like, we've had this conversation multiple times on this show, Corey, where leftists almost get it right. Like, they're really good at diagnosing the problem. They're really good at seeing the solution at the end of the tunnel, but they're really bad about the middle part where it's getting there. Like, their
mean to an end is different than the libertarian.
Good at the bread of the sandwich. Like, they get the bread right. They get the bottom loaf goes on the bottom. The top loaf goes on the top. The meat and potatoes in the middle, they're really bad about. That's another discussion for another day. But like, that's what gets
right. Just remember, big business
so
can only exist with big government,
which is bullshit.
Wait,
big business. Big businesses can absolutely exist without big government. The difference is, it is now.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, the oligarchy that we have now can only exist because it's protected by the government.
Okay? So you mean corporatism can only exist with big government?
Yeah,
you're right.
because
That's
it's
correct.
protected because the big corporates, lobby the government to create high tax stamps on things, because a government would rather have to pay large regulatory fees and taxes, because then it's easier to forecast on how they navigate their business in the future when they know that they have this number that they have to stick with, versus another company coming up and having a better product, a better service that can compete with them, where they can stifle that competition because that company can't even afford to get off the ground because
Right.
these regulations and business and stuff like that.
It's the John D. Rockefeller analogy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but I'll say it for any new listeners. A lot of people on the left like to bitch about monopolies. And they're right, they're a problem, but they're not right about why they're a problem. Right? They're a problem because of the fact that the government is involved. So what John D. Rockefeller did when he founded Standard Oil was he basically went out and he either put all other oil businesses, I think he was still doing kerosene at the time because it was kerosene at first and then it switched to petrol, I believe, but it doesn't matter. Either way, he tried to either put them out of business or buy them up. And the way he would do that, he would undercut all their prices to either buy them up or put them out of business. So when he was the only one left, he could then he was a monopoly, he could then jack the prices up, right? And so then what would happen is there's a free market, right? So he would jack the prices up and other competitors would come in. And he would have to start all over again. He would have to lower his prices, undercut all of his competition, buy them up, or somehow put them out of business. Then he would jack his prices back up. He tried to do this so many times. Literally the ebbs and
flows of an economy. Yeah.
Exactly. He tried to do this so many times, he realized it didn't work. And so what did he do, Corey? He went and bought Congress people instead.
Mm-hmm.
That is the issue, is free market combined with government is not actually a free market.
Yeah.
Big time
Exactly.
problem. I'll always turn back to the John D. Rockefeller analogy.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Another example, like, especially like liberals and leftists, they love their craft beers.
Yeah.
Samuel Adams had to go and spend a buku amount of bucks lobbying Congress to make it to where you could have those craft beers.
Well, here's what's interesting too.
Less regulations gave a steroid shot to a free market.
People have been trained to think that the word monopoly is bad. A monopoly doesn't have to be bad. If a monopoly exists, what that means is they're providing a good, reliable product at a good price or service at a good price. People continue to buy it. They don't have any complaints about it. If they're the only one that does it, they're technically a monopoly. But if they're at market value and they're providing a good product and they're providing a good service, why is that monopoly a bad thing?
Right. And the only way they could legally stop another competitor from rising through the ranks is lobbying the government.
Yeah. Getting involved with exactly what John D. Rockefeller did. Because it does. Yeah. It sounds like a dirty word. We've gone off on a huge tangent here, but I like this conversation. That's exactly what John D. Rockefeller did.
Mm-hmm.
He realized that he couldn't produce a monopoly in an actual free market.
So he had to lobby Congress.
He had to make the market less free by buying Congress.
And then my man, was it Taft or was it Teddy who busted him up? Hey, Bell, look that up real quick. Was it Taft or Teddy that busted up Rockefeller's conglomerate? Because ExxonMobil and a bunch of companies, those are like the subsidiaries that developed from Rockefeller.
Yeah, but now you're talking about the government getting involved in busting up a monopoly.
After they caused the problem in the first place, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
But it was someone rescinding the government's interference in it, basically. Because I don't know I can't remember if it was Teddy or if it was Taft. Because Taft was a big person. Yeah, because Taft was a trust buster too, but he would use his AG to go after companies when they were just being shitty to just consumers. But Teddy was also known for trust busting.
It was Taft in 1911. He had the Justice Department sue Standard Oil.
Okay,
go.
I knew it was one of the two. Taft was also
Rockefeller would have been old as fuck at that point.
In 1911.
Yeah, he would have been pretty old. How do you feel about the ICC right now, Corey? The ICC issues quote unquote anti-Semitic arrest warrants. I put anti-Semitic in. That was me. Because I feel like
that's where it's going.
A lot. I feel like that's where it's going. So I don't actually know if, because it's a pretty new development over the weekend. So the ICC has requested, ICC meaning the International Criminal Court, has requested arrest warrants against Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. Obviously, we know who Benjamin Netanyahu is. He's the Prime Minister of Israel. Yoav Gallant, if you don't know who he is, he's the Israeli Minister of Defense. However, it's not just the Israelis he's going after. He's going after Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed Diab, Ibrahim al-Masri, I think I got that right, and Ishmael Hanaya. These are those last three are all higher ups in Hamas for war crimes. I mean, I look at that and I go, yeah, okay, all of these things make sense to me.
Right.
But for some reason,
so I got
so
a
much
lot
of
to
us have to be
unpack
on
here.
one side or the other. Go ahead, Corey.
Well, so first off, I don't think we have to be on one side or the other. I think that both sides have committed.
No, a lot of people are, though. Like, they don't understand
Yeah.
how you could possibly be on.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand how, like, I hate how people treat
Like, both
world
sides can commit
issues.
war crimes. It's okay
Yeah, I hate
to
how
like, say that.
I hate when, like, tribalism belongs in, like, sports, family crests, I guess, in family
Politics
disputes,
now.
like the Hatfields and the McCoys, the Romeos and the Juliets. But outside of that, you don't have to pick a fucking side. All of a sudden, one side good, one side bad. It's not binary.
side
How
good,
about
one side
both are bad? Like, if I have to choose between drinking battery acid or gasoline, I'm going to be like, well, gasoline runs my car, so I guess I'll drink that one. Like, it's, you don't have to pick either side. Both
Maybe
can
if
be
I piss in
fucking
the
good.
gas tank afterward, I can still salvage some of this.
Right. Like, is it unleaded? Like, like, it's fucking stupid. Like, Hamas has committed war crimes. Bibi Netanyahu, our own government, in a recent memorandum said it's reasonable to assess that Israel committed war crimes. And so both sides fucking, like, these leaders, on the grand scheme of things, you could say both sides suck. It's not a sports team. You don't have to pick one or the other. And what I'm thinking about when it comes to this is, how does exactly this play out? Because of the precedents being set that, like,
I got a moth in here. Oh,
if a warrant is put out for BB, the ICC literally has no teeth.
nothing's gonna happen. That's the thing. That's
Is
the
he
thing
going to
about
get
the
arrested on
ICC.
France's soil?
No.
Anything like that? No, not BB. But what about a Hamas leader?
For sure. For
Right.
sure. Depends where he goes. Like,
The hypocrisy,
it
because
is-
the ICC, this is like kind of unprecedented territory for them too, going after a very prestigious leader that's on the forefront of, like, the whole leadership of the world or whatever.
just
Bibi
a
Netanyahu from Israel.
quasi Western leader.
ICC,
essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
ICC typically goes after, like, warlords, corrupt governments of third world countries, and things like that, which Palestine, unfortunately, would fall under more than, like, a developed country. Does this kneecap the whole moral high ground of Western society? If a Hamas leader gets arrested and someone from Israel doesn't, when at this point they both have committed atrocities.
It is a big deal. And I like the point you just made there, Corey. It's a big deal that Bibi Netanyahu is openly being pursued under the International Criminal Court for war crimes. I don't think anything will come of it. I really don't. But it's a big deal in this geopolitical game, because it is technically a scenario where if BB travels to France, could he be arrested by the ICC? No, because they don't actually have arresting officers. However,
Right.
the
But
French
if you went to, like,
officials-
Belgium or
Yeah,
what's another, Austria, I think is another country. There's countries that aren't so friendly.
the nation's officials could theoretically arrest Bibi Netanyahu. I don't think it's going to happen. But, like, it's a
Right.
big step.
Would they destabilize the Western coalition by making a stand on this hill? Would they die on this hill? I guess is what I'm saying. No, I don't think they would.
Well, I don't either. But, like, the hope that you have is and I don't think this is going to work. I don't think it'll work out.
No,
this
it's not
way.
going to work.
But
America's
no,
GOP and stuff is already talking about sanctioning the ICC.
No. My whole thing is this: like, if you, as the International Criminal Court, if you show that you're willing to offer an arrest warrant or seek an arrest warrant for Bibi Netanyahu, which you can't execute because, like we said, the ICC doesn't actually have arresting officers. They can't like roll into Israel and put Bibi Netanyahu in handcuffs.
Don't put him in the Guatemalan embassy.
It's showing the
Mexican
world.
Embassy, I mean, wait.
It's showing the. You talking about Assange?
No, that's the Ecuadorian embassy. No, that one embassy, the Nicaraguan embassy in, was it El Salvador or something recently? Bell, what was that one embassy that was stormed by another embassy by another country?
Not important. Off topic. This is important because what it does is it shows that like it's kind of that. Like what we've been talking about over the past few weeks about how Hamas is playing global PR chess and Israel is playing global PR checkers. This is just another victory in that Hamas global PR. It's another victory for them. Not saying that's a good thing, but what is a good thing is this recognition that what the Israeli government has done to Palestine is not going unnoticed, because in the past it probably would have, because the pro-Israel crowd, you hear the same question asked by every one of them. I don't care if it's Dennis Prager, I don't care if it's Barry Weiss, I don't care if it's Ben Shapiro. They all ask the same question. After October 7th, what was Israel to do? And I give Dave Smith a lot of credit because he asked this question, which is a better question all the time. He asked it before I ever had a chance to, which is, when you are indiscriminately bombing Palestine in the pursuit of Hamas, I understand this, right? Go bring to justice the people that committed this horrible atrocity on you on October 7th. I completely understand that. Is the indiscriminate bombing of Palestine necessary? Or is there another way to do this? And the answer is absolutely there's another way to do this. It is not, because it's this whole Israel has the right to exist, which I agree with. I think Corey agrees with that as well. I think Bell agrees with that as well. I don't have an issue with the existence of Israel. It's this idea that
I blame the Brits. I blame the Brits for the clunkiness of it all, but
it's this idea that Israel is defending itself right now. They're not doing that. That's not what this is. They're not defending themselves. This is revenge.
No, Iran shooting missiles at them was defending themselves. We saw 100%. What they can do when they defend themselves. They can defend themselves. It's
revenge. This is revenge. That's what this is. That is,
if somebody did harm to my family, and in return I go on a rampage and decimate a bunch of innocent people, that's not defense.
Corey, that you almost brought up Dave Smith's best point, because this is the analogy he gives, and I absolutely love it. He goes,
if I went after the killer, that's justified.
Corey, let's say I'm at your house, right? And somebody breaks in and they kill me. They shoot me. They point the gun at you, and you shoot them dead. You just defended yourself, right? Completely fine. Now, let's have another scenario where I'm at your house, somebody breaks in, they kill me, your friend. I think we're friends. And then they run off back home, and you know where they live. And you blow up their house with their wife and children in it. That's what's happening now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. It's retribution to a ridiculous scale. And exactly, like, even in our legal system here in America, which a lot of countries, I think Israel is one that models after it. If somebody, let's say a drunk driver, my kid's outside playing, drunk driver loses control, drives into my yard, kills my kid. I go and I kill him. even if it's premeditated murder, the courts look at that differently than they would if I went and killed him and his entire family.
And even that isn't self-defense. That's justice.
Right. But
It's
the
not
court
self-defense.
system, you know what I mean? Because there's first degree, second degree, third degree murders in our country based on the variance of like the context of it.
Yeah, how premeditated it is, etc.
Right. Exactly. So that's basically what I'm kind of getting at. Like our legal system is like there's things put in place that our legal system looks at this stuff like we're saying. And yet we're turning a blind eye to one of our allies doing it. Again, I'm going to say it took us 20 days to call Putin a genocidal war criminal for attacking Russia in a conventional war. And here we are saying there's reasonable, like it's reasonable that people assess that Israel is doing the same thing. And they're still not saying it. It's disregarding the Leahy law completely.
Yeah. Well, and that's another key point too. The ICC issuing an arrest warrant for Netanyahu is like,
right, because for countries like us, all of a sudden this is happening. It's going to make us talk about the Leahy law a whole lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
To where the warrant itself doesn't have teeth. The implications, I like where you're going with that.
The thing about it is like
of it can have ripple effects.
And the thing about it is like
Israel can't carpet bomb fucking Gaza if we stop giving them the weapons to do it.
I mean, yeah, that's obvious. And the thing that's
BB might never see a court, but if we just stop giving them the weapons, that's a win in my book.
The thing that's so fucked up is I think about like whatever it is, the last 10 minutes of the conversation that we just had. And if we were more mainstream than we currently are, I could just see people taking what we just said, splitting it into video clips, and calling us anti-Semites. When nothing what we just said has. I mean, I don't either. It's just amazing that like that is a thing that could happen. Because we called out a shitty, corrupt government for doing
the Israeli
shitty
government
things
is hurting
that
their
just
own people.
happens to be run by Jewish men.
The Israeli government is hurting their own people and making them left safe around the world because now conversations that we never thought we'd be having we're having because of just how shitty they're being.
Yeah.
Bright Eyes in the house. What's up, Bright Eyes?
And there are a lot of Jews that we respect, including friends of mine, that are talking about people like BB and Dennis Prager and certain others, Barry Weiss, where they're coming out with this propaganda and lies that's actually perpetuating Jew hatred. And that's fucked up in every single regard.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we have left? What did I forget? We had one more topic, didn't we?
I think that's it.
No. Yeah, we talked about the debate, right? Yeah, we did that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just headlines from a hellish, horrible landscape.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta get with it. Let me get with it. Here we go.
It's time for headlines from a hellish, horrible hellscape. May God spare our children's souls.
The end is nigh.
Headlines from a hellish, horrible hellscape coming from Corey Walsh.
The extradition appeal has been approved for the Assange case. Assange currently has been literally fighting for his life to not be sent back to America. Ironically, the land of free speech, where he had a publication that shed negative light on our government, where he actually didn't even steal the documents or try to hack our government. It was a person named Chelsea Manning who is walking free, while Assange is still ducking and hiding in embassies across the world.
Corey, not even our government. It was just the Clinton campaign.
Yep. On April 23rd, 2024, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission voted 3-2 to ban most non-compete clauses in employer-employee contracts, with some exceptions. The rule will prohibit employers from entering into new non-compete agreements with workers, including independent contractors, starting in August of 2024. It will also prevent businesses from enforcing existing non-competes, with some limited exceptions for a narrowly defined class of senior executives with existing agreements. The rule also adopts exceptions for the sale of business. In other words, Biden, like a broken clock, his administration is right at least twice a month, maybe more like a cyclical menstrual cycle of a woman. He is actually doing, his administration is actually doing something for the workers. Bernie recently tweeted in a classic 2015 throwback.
My 67 Corvette.
That this is what oligarchy looks like. 50 billionaires in America with a collective net worth of $1 trillion have spent over $600 million on the 2024 election. Democracy is supposed to be about one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. We must overturn Citizens United. That's right, folks. Bernie, the sellout, the cuck to the Democratic establishment from 2016 and 2020, sometimes still spits some mad bars.
I mean, as we said pre-show, that's all great. I'm fine with overturning Citizens United. It is solving a symptom, not the problem. But anyway, go ahead.
Dan, that cynicism sometimes is a little overbearing in the fact that one less thing that making it harder for billionaires.
Wait a minute. Did I just do the thing that I shit on libertarians for all the time? Or did I just let the perfect be the enemy of the good?
Yes. You just tried to out libertarian a libertarian.
I totally did. I just shit on the perfect being I let the perfect be the enemy of the good there for just 1 second.
Maybe it's Dan's cynicism. Maybe it's plastic in his nuts. Microplastics in a recent study just showed that, and all the men in the study have microplastics in their nutsack. And as Bell so eloquently put it earlier, in the semen, it's just pulp.
My 67 Corvette.
The successful Israel peer that Biden touted in the recent State of the Union address, where he said, while we are also giving Israel bombs, we're also going to feed the people we're bombing who are starving and have no water because of those
so
very
if you have a
bombs.
problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
In between his racist tropes, he said that he is going to, in fact, build a pier on the Gaza Strip to bring aid into the country. Where as soon as he said that, Bibi Netanyahu himself says he cannot guarantee the safety of the travel of this aid or the safety of the people that are operating the pier. That said pier got shut down after just a couple of days of operation because 11 of 16 of the aid trucks were targeted and attacked, and the actual supplies inside of those those freights were taken. Some say it was Hamas. Some say it was starving Palestinians who are on the verge of destitution.
Isn't it just amazing how the pro-Israel crowd cannot grapple with that? How they cannot grapple with the fact that aid trucks have been bombed, aid workers have been killed simply for trying to bring aid to a war-torn people. And then people want to go, why does the ICC want to bring charges against Benjamin Netanyahu? I can't fucking imagine why. They won't grapple with that fact. Have you heard any pro-Israeli person grapple with this?
No.
Well, you know, if they get Corey, if Hamas gets food, then they'll keep going. We can't let them have food. We can't let the rest of the Palestinian people be damned. Like we have to make the food not get to Hamas.
That'll end it.
Nonsense.
That'll solve it.
Yeah.
Libsertive Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libsertiveshow.com. I thought you just said, I thought you said
nope, we're done. No, we're done. Go for it. You can start over if you need to.
Libservative Podcast. It's
My
found on all social
67
media and
Corvette.
podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast. Reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
That's right. You do a better job than the actual Benny Hill Gang does.
Oh, I know. I'm going to do this song for karaoke next time I'm out. But yeah, no, for real, I thought... Go ahead.
I was going to end the show. Go, no, you go. Go. What do you guys say?
No, I really thought you were like, tell the... I heard you say tell, and I really thought I was about to hear. Tell the people where they can find us.
I was going to, and then you said more stuff, and that's why Benny Hill Gang is playing right now, because we still just not have the rapport that we should have after 300-something episodes. For Belly Bodysnatcher,
we're doing a great
on the
job.
ones and twos, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
He's Gandriffin. Fuck!
This has been Libservative, and until next time, we are...